evening and welcome to CYC News for today, the 12th of July 2014 AD and the 6th of Abib 1730 AM. I'm Natalie Mlad.
And I'm David Nada. In today's headlines, the relics of Saint Habib Guirguis have arrived at the Melbourne diocese in Australia. Mosques in Mosul preach in favour of attacking the city's Christians. President El-Sisi called to reject Egypt's draft NGO bill. 200 Ghanaians request asylum in Brazil. The 2014 Football World Cup continues in Brazil. And the world's first dengue fever vaccine has been developed.
The relics of Saint Habib Guirguis have arrived at the Melbourne diocese in Australia. Born in Cairo, Egypt in 1876, Habib Guirguis started serving the church as a teacher and as a travel lay preacher. He was ordained as an archdeacon and dean of Pope Carlos IV's Theological College. Habib Guirguis started the first Sunday school class at St. Mark's Cathedral in the year 1900 in Cairo. These classes were spread all over Egypt, Sudan and extended to Ethiopia. He published and wrote a total of 30 books, which are still used in the church today. He was taken by the Lord in 1951 at the age of 75. The Holy Synod of the Coptic Orthodox Church canonized Habib Guirguis as a saint on the 20th of June 2013.
According to MCN, a civil activist in Nineveh, northern Iraq, has claimed that a number of preachers in the mosques of Mosul are spreading extremist religious hate speech. The activist confirmed that the preachers described Christians as infidels. Many of the preachers supported the attacks on Christian cities by the Islamic State in Iraq and the Daesh. He said they considered the mass exodus of the citizens as a fair punishment from God against the infidels who are drinkers of alcohol and who are pork eaters. He stressed that their Friday speeches consist of a number of these preachers calling for dismissal of religious minorities from the city of Mosul. They aim to attack Christian churches and monasteries scattered in the city. Approximately 2,000 Christians are still living in the city controlled by Daesh. The activist is concerned that the threats will push the rest of the religious minorities to leave and will put an end to the Christian presence in the city. He called on the Iraqi Council of Representatives to implement a law that would punish all the clerics in Iraq who ignite sectarian strife and extremist speech. The activists called for focus on peaceful religious coexistence and unity in the true city spirit of citizenship.
A new draft of a bill regarding the operation of NGOs has caused dispute within the civil society groups in Egypt. Egypt's Ministry of Social Solidarity suggested that the bill would criminalise the operation of NGOs and subordinate them to the security establishment. This means shutting down the public sphere in Egypt to all but the regime supporters. This caused a coalition of civil society groups to be up in arms, calling for President El-Sisi to reject the law. They believe it contravenes the constitution and Egypt's international obligations. A previous bill was put forward to the UN Office of the Human Commissioner for Human Rights. However, the civil society groups say this latest draft is very different. They fear that it follows the same similar path to that taken by the former President Mohamed Morsi. They believe it violates the constitution, is vague in its description of prohibited activities, demonstrates uncertainty with the nature of civil work, and restricts field research. The signatories are demanding that the bill not be revised but rejected entirely. If not, it could provoke further unrest in Egypt by shutting down all legitimate channels for public action.
Brazilian federal police say that about 200 Ghanaians have requested asylum, according to the BBC. After entering the country on tourist visas to watch the World Cup, the Ghanaians said that they were Muslims fleeing interreligious conflict in their home country. However, the BBC says there is no religious conflict in Ghana, but that it is one of the most peaceful countries of West Africa. They have filed their applications in southern cities in some of Brazil's most prosperous areas. The authorities simulate that Ghanaians are looking for the right to work legally in Brazil. Police expect another 1,000 Ghanaians to request refugee status once the World Cup ends. However, Ghana's sports minister Mahama Ariga told the BBC he doubted this was the case. He said that only 650 fans had formally gone to Brazil. Once they have filed for asylum, Brazilian legislation permits potential refugees to work legally in the country.
In the latest World Cup update, the Netherlands and Costa Rica ended full time at 0-0 on Sunday's game. The Netherlands came out on top, scoring 4 on penalties. The Netherlands moved on to the semi-finals against Argentina. Wednesday's match saw Germany victorious over struggling Brazil, with the scores at 7-1 at full time. Brazil star player Neymar was out of the match due to an injury sustained in the previous match against Colombia. The captain of the team and main Brazilian defender Thiago Silva was also out of the match due to suspension. The absence of these players has caused a structural loss within the Brazilian team, leading up to Germany's triumph. In the Netherlands match on Thursday against Argentina, the scores remained locked at 0-0 at the end of extra time, with Argentina winning on penalties 4-2. Germany faces Argentina in the grand final of the 2014 FIFA World Cup on Sunday, Brazil time, and Monday morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time.
And in health, scientists have developed a world-first vaccine to protect against dengue fever. According to the BBC, the vaccine has worked in large-scale trials. Dengue fever is a mosquito-borne virus that affects over 1 million people every year. The Lancet journal research suggests that more than half of the children given the shot were protected. It is crucial work in progress, as 50% of the world's population is at risk of dengue fever. The virus can cause intense joint pain, high temperatures, and severe headaches. Researchers from 5 centres across Asia treated 6,000 children aged between 2 and 14. This is the leading late-stage test of a vaccine in medical history. The results showed that 56% of children were seen to have protection against the virus at the end of 2 years. While the study is promising, experts say that vaccines with greater effectiveness are crucial. There are currently no preventative treatments for dengue fever.
And that's all for CYC News today. Stay tuned for more Christian content on CYC. I'm Natalie Millad.
And I'm David Nada. And from the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia, good night and God bless.